What's up, everybody? Welcome to Real Talk with Chris and Travis. I'm Travis.
And I'm Chris.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.
And don't forget to catch us on Instagram at Real Talk with Chris and Travis. So, as I normally do, I like to introduce the topic. And the topic for today is having independence with a disability. So I think I'm going to kind of let Travis open this one up.
Yeah, I mean, having independence with a disability, man, it's very important,
Yeah.
It's like a badge of honor. Sometimes when I was younger, I used to think about, man, how I'm gonna drive, you know what I'm saying? How I'm gonna be able to get a vehicle that's modified where I can use hand controls and actually drive it, and learn how to drive. And who's gonna actually teach me how to use these things?
Mm-hmm.
I used to think about things like that.
And it's good that you bring that up because, like you say, it's like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
It's no greater feeling in the world than seeing that you have a difficult situation and having to figure out, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get through this situation? And then you actually figure things out and you see it. You see it through, mm-hmm. And then you can look up, a couple of days later, months later, even years later, and be like, God, you you did that.
Yeah. It's like when you're trying to figure it out, and it's like life has a way of coming full circle for the most part.
Yeah.
And it's like everything you was worried about, it's like, dang, why was I even worried about this? And it happened just like that.
That's true. I know, for me, I always wanted my own house, And when I was living with my parents, I felt like having my own place is something that's probably not going to ever happen because I struggle with driving. And because I'm not able to drive, that means that, my parents going to have to pick me up. They're going to have to drop me off at work, bring me home, bring me to the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Because this was all back before there was an Uber. This was all back before you could order groceries and stuff online and have it shipped to your house. And I'm like, man, I don't know how, I don't even know why I would want to leave my parents' house because if I'm on my own, I'm not going to be able to do anything because I can't drive. And that had me kind of depressed. That had me in a bad place. And I just remember like praying on it, and God was like, just don't ever give up, And fast forward the clock, now, you know what I'm saying, I got a wife who loves me, I love her, you know what I'm saying, and she's my transportation when my parents can't do it, you know what I'm saying, and she don't mind. And even though I don't drive, like I don't miss out on anything. I'll be at my kids' appointments if I got to go to their appointments and all of that. And the stuff I thought I would never be able to do, I'm doing it today.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you brought that up too. Because, I used to think about, man, how I'm going to get my own place and all that. Because I remember a time where I was like searching for apartments. And I would call the apartment complexes and they were like, yeah, we got accessible apartments. And I would go see the apartment. And it wasn't even accessible. There was like no ramps anywhere. I used to be like, man, this ain't gonna never happen. I'm gonna have to stay at home. Then fast forward to now, I got my own place. And then when I used to think about like, man, if I gotta make grocery, how am I gonna carry all this to my like inside, like the big cases of water and everything?
Yeah.
And then like you said, they got grocery delivery now. So
right.
They bring the grocery to me. So I'm like, everything I was thinking about, worried about, it happened just like that. And it's like, dang, I was worried about that for nothing.
And hey, if y'all listen to the podcast enough, I always say I love technology. Yeah. Because technology helps us to be more independent. Could you imagine if there still was no, if there still was no Uber, if there still was no, no ordering groceries online, or you can't buy medicine or whatever you need online and have it shipped to you, man. Even like the companies that bring food, they'll deliver food to you. Mm-hmm. So I ain't gonna lie, some of them companies I don't be trusting, people bringing me food, but at the same time, I have used those companies numerous times and never had any problems. Uh-huh. So with these companies and all of this technology, man, independence is possible for just about anybody. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I used to think it was never gonna happen for me. But, look at me now.
I used to think the same thing, man. Like, I used to be like, man, I might have to be in my parents' house forever. And depend on them to drive me everywhere and have to live with them. I'm like,
who wants to do that? No, no shot to the parents. Y'all were great.
oh yeah, definitely they were great, but I mean, you want to
You want your own.
branch out. You want your own space. You
Right.
do your own thing. But I mean,
Right.
But I mean, I feel like as technology continues to advance,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably gonna be even more easier to just a lot easier. I mean, to do about anything.
Yeah, I believe that too.
I mean, a lot of these companies are coming out with these different devices to help, like voice activated devices.
Oh yeah.
Well, you ain't even gotta move. You
And
wanna,
I think they have good and bad drawbacks.
why you say bad?
Because okay, like you said, like you can voice activate stuff and you don't have to move. You gotta move to stay healthy. I mean, unless you unless you just can't move, that's different.
Yeah.
But like okay, I'm gonna go back to like a piece of old technology, but it's still really good today. A TV remote.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I don't know if you remember back in the day when they didn't have remotes for TVs.
That's when you had the kids. Hey, go change that channel.
Yeah. See what I'm saying?
The kids were remote.
Yeah, they could be in their room playing. You on the couch, you like, hey.
Come here, change this channel.
Right. So, I mean, think about the remote. Like, the remote was great. I mean, it is great. I said that like it wasn't even here no more. The remote is a great invention.
Mm-hmm.
Because you literally don't have to get off the couch to change channels and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is helpful for somebody who may not be able to move all that well. But then at the same time, though, I feel like the invention of the remote kind of got people in that mindset like, bro, I really don't have to move to do things. They just need to come out with more technology like this here.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of, and this is my personal opinion, it kind of put us on that fast track to obesity and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that could play a part.
A little small part,
Small
I'm not
part.
trying to.
But I mean, it does give people, independence to do things,
Right.
to be able to enjoy things that others can as well, like the streaming channels.
Oh, those things are awesome.
Some people might not been able to go to Blockbuster, to rent a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have the movies at your house, and
Yeah,
you ain't gotta go nowhere.
I was a big Netflix fan when they first came out, and I saw what they was. And even to this day, I'm still a big Netflix fan. I don't care what the company go through, because they've been through some ups and downs. But I'm like, because when they first came out, right? I remember they used to send the DVDs to your house. You'll watch a DVD and then you send it back.
Yeah.
And then when they said they was gonna stop doing the DVDs, I was like, man, how I'm gonna get my movies? And then when it was like you just sign into the website and you can download all the stuff and watch it, I was like, oh, I don't need a disc no more. I don't have to go to the mailbox.
Yeah.
And I was sold. They was gonna get my money every month.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think technology plays a big part in independence, especially if you have some kind of disability. Man, and not all technology is electronic. When I think of technology, I think about those I forgot what they call it's like the little things you could use to grab stuff. They long and it's got a trigger on it like a gun.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like a claw, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that is a simple design. You know what I'm saying? It's basic engineering, but something like that is incredible.
Yeah, that way if you can't bend over, you just use that to pick something up off the floor.
And save your back and other muscles. See what I'm saying? Yeah. I think that's an incredible piece of technology, and it may not look all that pretty, but it's powerful.
Yeah.
Just like you said, the voice activation stuff. That's another thing. Because I've seen people who were physically blind, and they had to set their phone up. Back when I was working retail, I used to sell phones too.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember people who were blind would come and purchase a phone, and they like, hey, can you turn on the voice navigation stuff for me, so that when I talk to my phone, it can tell me what I'm looking at. And I was like, it do that? I didn't know, because I don't need that kind of technology, so I didn't know. And the person told me, they was like, yeah, it can do that, but you have to be able to go in and select it and all of that. Yeah. And I had to pull out my phone and Google how to get to that in the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And once I learned how to get to it, I actually was able to help the person actually set up their phone to where they could talk in the phone and say call mom or call 911 or write this on my grocery list and stuff like that. And when I saw them use the phone that way, I was just like, that is awesome. Like, now they don't have to have somebody with them in the store saying you're on the cereal aisle.
Yeah.
It's just.
But I mean, I feel like independence goes way past just technology as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, different businesses need to step up. As far as like having accessible parking or doorways or wide spaces. That way. We don't always want to go into a store or anywhere with somebody with us. We want to do it by ourselves. I don't want to have to tell somebody, hey, can you go with me to this place because
I might need you to open this door.
Yeah, or I can't fit down that aisle because it's so narrow.
I had this happen to me a month ago. We was going to look in this store. It was a little thrift store, and they had a lot of nice stuff in there. And my daughters, both of them needed some jeans, and the thrift stores be having good quality material for a lot less money.
Mm-hmm.
And we was gonna go look in there, and when I got to the doorway, like my wife and kids went in there, I turned sideways and got through the doorway, but then the aisles were so small, as far as I could go was in the doorway. And my wife looked back and she was like, "You want me to take the crutches and you could just hold on to me and we can walk around?" And I was like, "Nah, that's not gonna happen." I was like, "Cause it's still too much stuff for me to trip over, and I don't want to fall and drag you down with me." And I was like, "I'm gonna just go sit in the truck and I'll wait for y'all to come out, take your time."
Yeah.
And they didn't stay in there long. They got what they came to get, and I stayed in the truck because I wasn't gonna be able to get around in there.
Yeah, that's the part that we shouldn't be excluded because of because we can't fit somewhere. We want our independence too. I'm pretty sure you didn't want to send your wife in there to do something for you when you feel like you want to do it yourself.
Right.
You should have that right to be able to do that. I've had it happen to me before. I went to a restaurant in New Orleans and there was no ramp, so I had to wait for the workers to help me inside the restaurant.
Oh man.
And I had to go through the kitchen just to get in. I'm like, man, this is
what?
That's ridiculous. Like, I should be able to patronize your business without assistance, just like anybody else.
Right.
It's.
And again, we're not trying to throw no shade at the businesses that did these things. It's just because like with the clothing store, the physical building was just a small building. Like, it's just very small.
Mm-hmm.
The owner of the business probably thought about being more handicap accessible, but at the same time, she had to work with what was in her budget. Maybe having a bigger building just wasn't in her budget yet. So again, I'm not trying to throw no shade at these businesses, but for the businesses who can, like you have a big budget and you can make things more accessible, do it, because that's gonna get you more customers. That's gonna widen your customer base.
Right, you go into business to make money, right? You want everybody to patronize your business, right?
Especially if you're doing food, because everybody need to eat.
Right. I have a business. When I have a business, I'm
That's right.
It's gonna be with open arms. I want everybody. I don't want nobody to be like.
I want everybody in their money. Yes.
I don't want nobody to be like, man, every time I come there, I can't never maneuver down this aisle because it's always so narrow.
Yeah.
Or it's always a bunch of stuff in the way.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, man, independence is very important to those with a disability.
And also too, man, I think that, like you said, it goes far beyond technology.
Yeah.
I think independence is also a mindset.
Yeah.
You could look at your disability and say, you know what, man, it's gonna be too hard for me to accomplish this, that, and the third. Or you could have the mindset, you know what, I just gotta figure out a way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I may not be able to do it the same way somebody else does it, but I don't have to be them. I can be me and do things my way.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I love about technology, because literally you could be disabled and have 3 to 5 businesses. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They could all be online, different websites. You know what I'm saying? So You don't have to let being disabled stop you from doing anything.
Man, I remember I used to be afraid of adversity and obstacles, man. At one point, now it's like I just go out and head it on, like just bring it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna find a way to roll through it.
Let me ask you a question since you mentioned it. Do you find that certain types of adversities have become kind of fun for you now?
Yeah.
And that's how I felt when I was at work. Like when I had to figure out like how to move the TVs around and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so y'all just imagine like there's a pallet of, let's say, 42-inch TVs, and you got maybe 5 of them on a pallet, and I have to unwrap that pallet and stock out the TVs in the spot where they go. Man, the first time I realized I had to do that, I stood there for like 3 minutes. I was like, man, okay, I know how to move the pallet with the TVs on it, but once I get the pallet where it needs to be, how in the world am I, with my balance the way it is, gonna get these 5 TVs or whatever off this pallet without breaking them and without falling myself, and then put them in this hole? The space might be like this big.
Mm-hmm.
How am I gonna do this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I ask for help, I don't want them to think I can't do the job. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I know I could do this though. And I remember like, I was like, okay, do it in steps. First step is get the TVs off the pallet and get the pallet out your way so you won't trip.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that. Once I moved the pallet far enough out the way, I just used my upper body strength and I slid the TV in front of the space physically. Then I actually wobbled it in there until it lined up in the space, and I pushed it back up in the hole.
Okay.
And I did that until all 5 of the TVs was in place. Nothing got broken. It was looking really nice. I did my job with no help.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I was like, for one, I know I can do this. For 2, I know I need to do this because it's part of my job. And for 3, man, let's have a good day today. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun.
Right. Man, I was that way when I first started driving. Like when I first got on the interstate, I used to be terrified to drive on the interstate, man.
I feel you on that.
Man, I was so terrified. People were just flying by, and you ain't driving fast enough. They honking at you. You got 18-wheelers flying. You know how loud them horns are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your first time driving on the interstate, man. I was so terrified. But I was like, man, this is a mind thing. I'm gonna get through this. So when I was driving, I was like, you know what? I'm taking interstate. I don't care where I gotta go. I'm just gonna take it because I'm gonna fight this fear. And after I kept doing it, it was like, man, it was nothing. I was flowing with traffic. I wasn't scared to get over. I used to be terrified to get over, man. I used to ride that right lane. That right lane was my friend.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
So I was like, man, I'm gonna get through this, and that's what I did. I just tackled that adversity and took it head on.
You know, and you know, with us talking about the independence that come with being disabled. You know what I'm saying? And this may not kind of relate to independence, but talking about how independence starts in your mind. When, you know, I had told my wife this a couple of days ago. She really helped me to have more confidence. Yeah. Because, man, hey, if talking to women and getting numbers was like a batting average, oh, I'm batting 0. I was batting 0. Bad, you know what I'm saying? And I remember seeing my wife for the first time and being just like blown away by seeing her. And just not having the confidence to go walk up and talk to her. So I went over to, you know, buy her because we had to be in the same area. At the time, she was a security guard and I was a door greeter. Because I had to fill in for somebody that didn't come to work. And I'm you know, standing at the door and she was standing at the door. And I'm like, man, I don't know what to say. Like, I was nervous. Because, again, I had no confidence in me. See what I'm saying? And I just remember, like, making up my mind, like, you know what? Man, what's the worst that could happen? She can't kill me by saying no. So
Right.
All I can do is talk to her and see how this goes. And I'm like, man, what I'm going to say? But being me, I'm kind of goofy. I like to crack jokes. So I went, you know, to my spot at the door. And she was standing there looking amazing. And I cracked a joke. And she thought it was so funny. And she started laughing. And that's what kind of broke the ice for us to start talking. And then she told me, like, I helped her to have a better day because she was having a really bad day, which I did not know. And that's what, made it easy for her to give me her number instead of me having to ask her for the number.
Smooth with it, huh?
I'm smooth, look, bless, whatever it is, thank you, Lord. 'Cause you don't let something like that get away. So I think that, independence does start in your mind. No matter what you're facing, you like, you know what? For one, it's not going to be like this all the time. For two, long as I don't give up, I don't have to be stuck. And then for three, you know what? Life is meant to be lived, and I'm going to live it. So,
yeah.
And you just take that approach.
Yeah, man. To piggyback off, the pickup line, all I do is roll up on them and be like, hey, your legs tired? You give it me, you ain't gotta walk again. You ain't gotta walk again, you give it me.
That boy on gold tongue over here, huh? I see you. When the book coming out, I see you. He said the title is Pimping Is Easy. No, I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just playing. Y'all know we got the jokes.
But nah, man, independence is very important. Like I said, it's like a gold medal to individuals with a disability.
Right.
I feel like it is. To me, it is.
Me too.
I look at it as a badge of honor to be able to do for myself, and I mean, it's a blessing.
And going through hard times, especially when you're disabled, you got to kind of look at it like chapters in a book. You know what I'm saying? I remember being in elementary school, I had a lot of fights. And that's only because kids would tease me about my legs. And I responded wrong to that because I'm a kid myself. So, I had to mature just like they had to grow up and mature. You know what I'm saying? And looking back on that stuff, it's like, you know what? I really ain't have to fight. Like, what was I fighting for? I could have just walked away and been like, this whatever. Yeah. But I'm so busy trying to prove, like, man, you gonna leave me alone. I'm up here hitting people, like, busting their face and nose open, getting in all kind of trouble. Like, it's just crazy.
I feel like things like that, when it's happening back then, it don't feel good. But as you get older, it makes you stronger because it kind of prepares you for the world. Because people aren't really going to take pity on you. And you kind of see how some people in society, how they actually really feel and what they really think. So, I mean, I kind of see it as a good thing to make you strong.
Yeah. And I remember I was 13 when I had gave my life to God, right? And I remember praying one day, and I'm like, Lord, why would you, put this disability on me and not take it off, even though I'm praying for you to heal me and stuff like that. And I remember, like, going to school in middle school and making friends with some people and still having some people that picked on me, but I wasn't worried about fighting no more. And I remember one day, I feel like God just told me, he was like, this disability don't have to be a weight to you. It could be something that propels you. And I was like, say what? You know what I'm saying? And he just told me, he was like, think about it. When you go somewhere, you stand out in a crowd. But while you're standing out in that crowd, as people are looking at you, seeing the smile on your face, seeing the energy that you're putting out, seeing that you're not suicidal, seeing that you're not depressed, you know what I'm saying? They like, hey, if he could get through that, I could get through anything. You see what I'm saying? And it make them look at their life different.
Yeah, I mean, you can be an inspiration to somebody else, and may not even know it. You might see them, they perfectly fine, and they see you, but like, damn, I admire him,
Right.
So, yeah.
Because I've never seen myself as an inspiration until I started working. That's a long time to not see us. I just saw myself, I'm just Chris. There's nothing special about me. There's nothing important. I'm just a guy.
Yeah.
And the more people that came up to me and was like, bro, if you can make it through the stuff you making it through, I can get through anything. And I'm like, but what am I making it through? This is just everyday life.
Yeah. I mean, some people might see the disability and be like, damn, that's gotta suck. Some people probably couldn't even handle 5 minutes in our shoes.
That's true too, because I've had people tell me that. They was like, bro, if I was going through the things you was going through, I probably wouldn't be here no more.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, you can't look at it like that. I mean, long as God putting breath in your body, He got something for you to do. That's why you still waking up. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I feel like life is what you make, and I don't care what the situation is.
Yes, sir.
It don't matter. I mean, like I said, your disability can be your blessing.
Everything. That's why I say it. I think everything starts in your mind.
Yeah.
You know, and as long as your mind is saying, no matter what I face, I'm gonna figure a way out. You know, like I said earlier, I don't drive. And because I wasn't driving as a teenager, because I wasn't driving in my 20s, I felt like life is just going to stop for me because I can't drive and I don't want to be dependent on my parents all the time. And what woman going to want me and I can't drive? Fast forward the clock, I got a whole wife. See what I'm saying? So, I mean...
That's them aha moments. Them ha-ha moments, I mean.
I had both.
Yeah.
You know, and now, I mean, I'm thinking life was going to stop because I couldn't do one thing.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I'm working on having businesses. You know, me and Travis have this podcast.
Yeah.
I got my own house. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I be shocked.
So I say, man, fast forward, we both, the things we were worried about, we both overcame. So, I mean, like I said, going through that adversity when it comes towards you, you go face to face with it, toe to toe. You know what I'm saying?
I see you over there on some Muhammad Ali stuff. Huh?
What he say? What he say? Something like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Yeah, that's how you gotta look at it.
Was that Muhammad Ali or George Foreman?
It's Muhammad Ali, man.
Oh, okay. I got them mixed up. My bad, y'all.
But yeah. Y'all drop us a comment and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.
And don't forget to catch us on Instagram at Real Talk with Chris and Travis. Also, don't forget that we are on TikTok now. I'm trying to post more stuff there. We also have an email address. It is realtalkwithchrisandtravis@yahoo.com. So y'all feel free to hit us up there with any questions, suggestions, or anything else you have. And we'll see y'all next week with another video.
Yeah, and y'all stay tuned.
And we out.
Peace.